Well, Bollinghall is called Bollinghall after the family who owned this original land and the house that was here, and the area itself was known as Bolla, which is an Anglo-Saxon word for a bowl, a dip in the land. So this house, as you're standing in it, has been here for 700 years. And we know that there was a house on this site 900 years ago. It didn't look like this. It would have been a much more temporary affair. So because there's been lots of people who've lived and died here, it's assumed there must be ghosts wandering the corridors. And it's certainly the case that this is one of the oldest buildings that people can still go into. So if you were a visitor to Bollinghall, what you could expect would be to come in through the original entrance, the very first stone part of the house, and to work your way from the west side of the house to the east side. And as you do that, you move forward in time. So a private dining room like this would be de rigueur in the late 1700s, and the family who lived here would have had all of their meals in this room and then would have extended their table if they had guests for dinner. So this is a purpose-built room, unlike in the west side where all of the rooms are communal, where they have multi-function, for the fact that all of the rooms in the east side have doors with locks, which isn't the case in the west side. There are no doors to the bedrooms. Bedrooms are not private places, they're very public. You can walk in, which is why all the beds in the west side of the house have curtains for that extra bit of privacy. By the time in the 1810s the families begin to get sick of living in the area, they sell the house to less well-off, less high-status people. And what was formerly a beautiful, stately home in the countryside has now become right in the middle of a jam-packed, heaving, seething mass. And it all happens because Bradford in the 1800s is starting to industrialise.
The Industrial Museum was a worsted mill built in 1875. It remained a spinning mill up until around the 1960s when the building closed, and it was around that time that, as a lot of the mills in Bradford were closing, the council sort of realised that the industrial heritage of Bradford was being lost, so they made the decision to try and save it by opening an industrial museum, and they chose this site to open the first industrial museum in Bradford. Everything within our collection comes from Bradford and the Bradford district, so our remit is to solely collect the social and technological history of Bradford and the Bradford district. The machines in this gallery are all from local industry, local mills, workshops, factories. So everything here was used in a Bradford context. Transport gallery, it's laid out like a street scene. So some of the Jarrett vehicles and the motorcycle vehicles were also used throughout the First and Second World War as well as military vehicles, and it also sort of highlights some of the more important cars within their range, such as the Jarrett Jupiter and the Jarrett Javelin. The idea is that you can kind of see the cars produced by Jarrett during the time that they were being manufactured. So the Transport Gallery sort of tries to tell that story and that side of Bradford and the transport history.
But we have a steady progression of the evolution of the technology from water wheels to the green machine behind me there. That's Madge. That would have been run by gas, a gas-powered machine, and it would have generated electricity for a mill like this. The horizontal steam engine is version, the one that's running now that you can hear in the background, is a smaller version of the large horizontal steam engine rotor that runs the line shaft here. So technically it would have run a smaller millwright workshop. The horizontals are perfect for this because the kinetic energy that they're producing, the speed that you can get them up to. So they would have been perfect for running line shaft, which is basically what they did, they ran line shafts.
The machinery in the print gallery looks at the printing industry in Bradford, so it's mainly letterpress and lithographic printing in Bradford. The supporting industries that cropped up around Bradford to support the textile industry, they produced books and magazines, calendars, stationery, anything that a company would need. They also produced catalogues such as Empire Catalogue, which was a big clothing catalogue as well.
On this floor, this is all the textile, which is obviously what Bradford was famous for originally. So we've got examples of just about every textile machinery that was used to process yarn. So the machines in there can go from actual raw wool right up to making the final thread, which comes into this department.
But you get people literally from all over the world. There's mainly what with Bradford connections. People from Australia, New Zealand, all the states of America, Canada, all sorts of people, particularly with the school classes. Might not be interested at first, but you get their enthusiasm going and you see that. That is brilliant. I mean, It's nice to be appreciated and it makes you feel you're doing something useful.
The building of Cartwright Hall Art Gallery is 1904 and it is a purpose-built gallery, which is why it's so fantastic. So you'd come into the entrance, you've got the sculpture court and it's very bright, very light. You can show huge, gorgeous sculptures, which is originally what it was made for. However, what we have got at the moment is an exhibition called Assignments 2016. And it's your 100 of your best press photos from The Guardian, The Times, The Independent, The Sun, all your tabloids. And then you've got the nice wings on each side which go into natural galleries with the staircase. At the moment, this exhibition is by Tony Bevan. So he was a Bradford lad, born and bred, but he's done incredibly well and he's now a Royal Academician.
There have been quite a few people coming in at the front desk asking to see this exhibition. And it's quite unique in that he's used a variety of mediums to create each piece. So right now it's the exhibition changeover, so we'll be installing the next animal craft exhibition.
So we kind of want it to be that visitor experience where you could come all day with your family, eat outside, go to the cafe in the park, have a go at some art. We always have workshops and activities on for the people of Bradford.